Hey everyone, welcome to Hunters Connect. Today I want to talk about how to plan your hunt. A few things I'm going to cover are electronic scouting using your phone or your computer, also known as e-scouting. Secondly, I want to talk about on-the-ground scouting. And lastly, I'm just going to cover how to prepare for your hunt. That includes getting your rifle ready, getting your gear dialed, and also just sharing where you're going with family and friends. So you have your tag, and now you need to figure out where exactly you want to go. And this can vary greatly depending upon the state regulations and just the area you're in. Depending upon your tag, you might be limited to one single unit, so then a lot of the work's already done for you, or you might have a tag that allows you to hunt the whole state. So now we need to narrow down where are you actually going to spend your time hunting. So one great resource that's also free is Google Earth. Google Earth is going to let you familiarize yourself with the area that you're considering hunting. The thing that's great about Google Earth, beyond it being free, is that you can see the 3D dimensions and topography of where you're considering. So the only downside about Google Earth is that you can't necessarily tell which lands you're allowed to hunt, whether that be private land or public land. So Onyx is a paid subscription and a mapping resource that you can use at home and in the field. It serves not only as a way to e-scout before your hunt, but also you can save waypoints that then you can utilize in the field. It really is a great tool for seeing public land versus private ownership and seeing which lands you can hunt, as well as a lot of different features of identifying trails, roads, gates, and a lot of things that you want to know before you arrive to your hunting area. So another great paid resource is called GoHunt. GoHunt is a website that has a ton of information of different states and units and species. It's really good for letting you narrow down to a particular unit because you can compare different units based on a ton of different variables. Whether you're looking for a unit with more public land, or maybe you're looking for a unit with a higher population of that certain species, GoHunt is a great resource for doing that. And lastly, another great resource is utilizing the state website for the area that you're hunting. A lot of these state agencies have hunt planners on their own websites. So you can go in and figure out a ton of information of different units as well as migration routes of animals. And really that can help narrow down and be a great resource for you to figure out where you might want to try hunting. So next, I want to talk about on-the-ground scouting. You've done your e-scouting, you've narrowed down an area, and now you're actually going to go check it out. And so on-the-ground scouting can be really good in the off-season to mostly identify what the terrain's like, what the area looks like in real life, maybe finding gates that you thought would be open or actually closed, identifying different roads and places to travel. But the animals are probably going to be doing something totally different than they will be once your season begins. So another great commonly used tactic is to actually scout right before your hunt begins. So you're going to that area a few days early, even though you can't actually start hunting, but you familiarize yourself not only with the area, but also with what the animals are doing. You might be able to identify where they're feeding, you might be able to see where they're bedding, how they're traveling, and what time of the day they're moving. So this can be really beneficial to maybe just go a few days before your season actually begins. Another great resource is to actually contact the state biologists for the area that you're hunting. This can be a really great resource because they're the people that are in the field and studying the animals that you're chasing. So lastly, we're going to talk about getting ready for your actual hunt. And first off, we're going to talk about becoming comfortable and efficient with your rifle or your bow, depending on which you're using. You're going to want to make sure your bow is sighted in and that your rifle is sighted in. And you need to practice to know how far your effective range is. How far are you comfortable shooting at an animal? And when you do, you just need to continue to practice and practice and practice all the way up until your hunt. So next, you're going to want to make sure you prepare the proper gear and food for your hunt. And this is really going to vary depending upon the species and area and weather that you're hunting in. But a few things to always bring would be layers to keep yourself warm and dry. You're going to want to bring food to make sure you have enough calories. This could be something as simple as a snack or a dehydrated meal if you need more calories. Also, you're going to want to bring water to make sure you're hydrated, whether that be a water bottle or a bladder like this. And lastly, make sure you bring some sort of first aid kit in case there's an emergency and you're going to need something to help yourself in case something goes wrong. So it's also really important to have a pack out plan for when you actually have a successful hunt. This is going to vary greatly depending upon where you're hunting and the species that you're hunting. Shooting a couple ducks in the pond behind your house is a whole lot different than shooting a bull elk way off in the mountains. But either way, you want to have some sort of plan in place so that you can take the best care of your meat before it spoils. It's really important to share your hunting plans with somebody that you trust. And that includes sharing the location that you're hunting, as well as when you plan to return. So this is especially important if you're hunting by yourself, because somebody needs to know where you are and when they expect you to return in case you have an emergency. So that is just the start of planning your hunt. But remember that e-scouting, on-the-ground scouting, and trip preparation are all key steps for a successful hunt. Most hunters invest a substantial amount of time in these planning steps to ensure that their hunt goes well. Thanks for watching, and check out our other videos on hunting.